Hi and welcome back. Now in this module we will be seeing where we will be coding our original IDE, which is called as Jupyter IPython Notebook. So once you launch your Jupyter IPython Notebook from Anaconda Navigator, you will be opening your browsers. So whichever would be your default browser, therein this would be opening. Make sure that you are using Chrome. If you use Edge, Opera or Mozilla, that is also fine, but yeah, personal opinion would be that this works well with Chrome. Then once you open this, whatever you can see right now in the screen, this is the part where our software is being installed in the C drive. So let us now navigate to the desktop from here, and here now I want to create a new folder wherein I will be storing all of my data files, all of my notes. So for creating a new folder, you can directly create new folder by the traditional method on desktop by clicking right and then creating a new folder, or else you can create a new folder from this environment as well. So for that we will be going to new, and here we will be selecting this folder. Once we select this folder, a new folder would be created by the name of untitled folder. Select this and hit here rename. Let us name this as Foundations for Data Science with Python FDSWP. Rename it. So you'll see that a new folder is created with the name of FDSWP. You can again navigate to the desktop and see as well that you have a new folder called as FDSWP. Now this would be the folder wherein all of our changes or all of our notebooks notes would be created. So for that, let's dive or navigate within this folder. Now you can see right now this folder is empty. Let us create a new IPython notebook wherein we will be writing our code. So for that, you will have to again hit new. You will be seeing something called as Python 3 over here. You will not be seeing this R because you have not installed R Studio. But yeah, you will be seeing Python 3. This 3 is because we have installed Python Anaconda 3 version. If you are using Anaconda 2, you will be getting Python 2 button over here. So once you hit this, you will a new tab would be opened in your browser. This is a place wherein we will be writing our code. Now you can again make sure that this folder is having a new file with an extension as .ipynb. This means that this is the IPython notebook. Now you can rename it or you can change the name from here as well. So I'll make it as day 1, run it. So my day 1 is, so my name of the file is edited now by day 1, and as you can see over here that you are having an option wherein it says checkpoint. This means that your notebook is getting auto saved. So whatever changes which we are making, these are getting saved at different intervals of time. Whenever you stop making changes, it saves saves your code. So you don't need to worry about saving it, but for making sure that you are like storing that changes at that particular point, you can make hit this save button and your changes would be made right then and there. So this is a place called as Anaconda IPython notebook. This is where we will be writing our code. Particularly within this particular tab or this particular cell is called as like this is the place which is called as a cell, and here you will be writing the code, and the output of the code would be displayed right below this. So for example, I will just write a number 15 and I will run this. So by clicking this run button, you can run the code. Now this is the advantage of Jupyter IPython notebook, that your input and output comes right then and there. And on top of it, you don't need to worry about that like any other traditional programming language like C, Java. You don't need to build first and then compile your code. It is a runtime compilation language. That means you directly compile your code and get to see the output. Now this is your input, this is your output. You are getting your output then and there. And if this cell, you can add some cell above it, you can add the cell below it. If you want to add some cell below it, you will just hit this shortcut button as plus. you'll get a cell after this cell which is you have selected currently. Now you want to move this cell, you can like hit this up button, down button, you can change the position of the cell. By default, all the cells are in the coding format. This means that all the cells are in the coding format, means whatever you write and run will get compiled. It will understand only if that is a programming syntax or a syntax from Python 3. If you write something else, it will throw you an error. So say for example, I am writing India over here and I am running it. So it will throw me name India is not defined and tell this error as name error. Okay. Now we don't want this name error, right? Why is this name error coming? Because this particular cell by default is in coding format. Now you have more different formats in which you can have your cell. You can convert any of the cell at any given point of time in markdown mode or in a heading mode or in raw notebook mode. Now what are these different modes? So whatever analysis we'll be performing, whatever graphs we'll be generating, whatever summarization of the data we'll be doing, you can write or add theory part to it. You can add title to those type of analysis. Now what you will do is we'll try to give a heading over here and name this heading as say univariate analysis. Univariate analysis. Now whatever we have written over here, we want this to be a heading. So for that we'll go to this coding mode, we'll change this to heading, a message would pop out, we'll say okay, this is for the different size of the title, and once you get this, you can see now we don't have numbers in the left hand side. Those numbers are gone. Those would be there only when you have your code in the coding format. If it is not in the coding format, you will not have those line numbers. Okay. Now to run this, you can hit this run, but other than that, you have a shortcut which for which you will have to press shift and enter on your keyboard. So if you press shift enter, you get your output. So you can see now I have my executed code and this have not thrown me error this time, even if this was an irrelevant Python syntax. This is a non-syntax command and still I am not getting an error. This means that this is a heading. Now if you can give a heading, you need to have something wherein you could write a detailed paragraph on that thing, right? So for that, say for example, I want to write this is a good language, yeah. So whatever you have written, now you want this to come in the, say maybe a different format, not in the coding format, but not even a heading format. So for that we have something called as a markdown. So you can convert this in markdown. If you will run this, now again this won't be executed, and you can see this is not coming in a very big size, this is not coming in a title format, and this is your para or a comment. Now one of the disadvantage is that you cannot like give new line. Whatever you will write in a new line in a markdown format, it will swipe up and like write everything in a single line if it is possible for it to do so. Now you can make changes here itself. You have to click it twice and say for example, I am writing that today is a good day. Now if I run it, now when I run it, you can see my second line is also coming in the first line. So this is how it won't work properly, but when you'll see it will be in the two lines, but when you'll execute it, it will again go back to the different line. Now for that what I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll paste it in a new cell. You can see that now we'll change the format of this. Instead of using heading or instead of using markdown, we'll change this to raw NB convert. Now again the numbers are gone, but when you will execute this, you can see the code is there, that whatever the comments or whatever the theory part we wanted to add, that is still there. So how or when we'll be using this, if you want to write some code which you want in a coding format and you don't want to compile it, you can write that and convert it into raw NB convert. You can see the difference between all three. This is a heading, this is a markdown, and this is a raw notebook format. Here we have this background of cell present over there after the compilation as well. So these are the three different methods in which you can write the code, comment, as well as have markdown. Now, if you want to comment anything in Python, like you want your syntax as well as after that you want some reference theory part over there. So for that you can use a hash over there. So whatever you write after the hash, that never gets executed. So this is a comment. When you will run this, you can see you have your coding format because you have this numbers over here. Still when you run it, it is not throwing you an error because this is commented. And when I try this without giving a hash, it throws me an error as invalid syntax. So these are the different types in which you can comment, you can leverage this. Output comes then and there. You have many multiple different shortcuts present over here which you can use. On top of it, the major use or major advantage of Jupyter IPython notebook is that you can convert this notebook in any of the formats. You just have to go over here and download. So in download you have n number of options which you can see. You can download the code in HTML format. .py means the original format of Python. .ipython notebook is the default one. You can also save it in PDF format. This won't work because you will need to have this latex function installed. But yeah, you can convert it in HTML and then convert it into PDF. It is very easy to convert HTML format into PDF, right? So you can convert in REST API, slides, whatever formats you want. So this is one of the major advantage of using Jupyter IPython notebook and leveraging this to convert our code into any of the different formats. Now we'll not spend much of the time on this. You can simply explore all the different options which you have: add cell above, add cell below, insert cell, run all cells, kernel, widgets. If you want to make a copy of this notebook, you have option over here: save, rename, open a notebook which is already there. Everything can be done. Now one important point, while closing this notebook, you just have to close and halt. Now why can't we directly close it? You can directly close it, but the difference would be that when you hit halt over here, so in the backend the kernel which is running to host your Python code, that would still be on and that would still be giving your memory allocation or computation power to that notebook. So if you want to stop that, if you want to save your computational power for some other processes, what you will do is you will close and halt it. So once you close and halt it, your computation power or the processing speed which is given to your code, it stops. And yeah, that is how you close your notebook. In the next video, we'll start with the basics of Python. Thank you so much for watching.